Hey guys, so, you know, I never realized that when they came out with the kosher phone, so that men, particularly Jewish men, maybe even also Muslim men, would not go on websites that they were not supposed to go on. And I would include beepers in that equation. I didn't realize that these devices would make your body part explode. It's one thing to not allow you to go on a certain website. It's quite another to just make sure you never go on such a website. All jokes aside, guys, it's interesting with this whole situation that happened today in Beirut, which was probably the greatest preemptive military attack in military history. I would say, really one of the greatest, apart from what Israel did to the Egyptian Air Force, in '67. But with all these memes and with all these jokes about it, it's interesting because Hashem, you guys should know that Hashem doesn't, allow an idea or a concept to come into the world unless it's necessary. Even if it's a joke, where everybody's making jokes about body parts exploding, a particular one, something to do with, in between your legs, even connecting it to the procedure called circumcision. Which made me think about it. Guys, this is a conflict between who? The Jews and the Arabs. Yitzhak and Ishmael, the two sons of Abraham. And it's interesting because there's this whole thing, if you look at that story, and if you look at the story of, circumcision, Brit Milah, it's a covenant. It's a covenant that both the Jews and the Arabs have with Hashem. And interestingly enough, Ishmael was the older one. He was older. And he was the one that was circumcised, I believe, at age 13. And obviously, just like his father, Abraham, he felt everything. He remembered everything and he felt everything. And it was a tremendous amount of pain. There's no anesthesia. And he is very proud, even to this day, that, he went through that. But interestingly enough, guys, this is what this whole thing is about. This is all about the covenant that we have with Hashem. And Hashem is reminding us, hey, we're having this whole discussion. We're bringing up the concept of circumcision, of Brit Milah, the covenant, right? And Hashem is just reminding us, hey, your cousins, are part of the covenant, obviously. And they, so to speak, suffered at your hands. But here's the thing. Guys. You guys are making sure that they don't... You guys did this, like Hashem is telling us, the Jewish people. You guys did this to make sure that they, they do not attack you, right? You're after them physically. But what you don't understand is that this is a spiritual situation. You're connected to them, right? And, this whole thing is happening. This whole situation is a physical manifestation, is a kind of political manifestation of something spiritual, right? It's something that's happening around the world, not just with Jewish men, right? non-Jewish men as well. And by the way, women are not absolved because women tend to be the object of it, right? Guys, I heard a lecture from a rabbi on Shabbat, this past Shabbat, and he reminded everybody, he wasn't admonishing people. He was just saying a fact of life, something based on nature, right? He was talking about, being a Baal Tshuva, being a, person who comes to Torah, person who didn't grow up religious and who comes to Torah and observance. And he says, the hardest thing for men, right, in all the things, in all the mitzvot, is guarding their eyes, right? And he goes, but what's the hardest thing for women? It's tzniut, it's tznius, it's modesty, dressing modestly. Which means that what? It means that it takes two to tango, right? So, look at the world, guys. Look at the world. I'll be straight up with you guys. Somebody sent me today, let's just say a profile of a girl, a dating profile of a girl. As always, I do my own research and this and that. And guys, I'll be straight up with you, and you're going to say, well, Tzvi, you're an extremist, and you're this and you're that, come on, like whatever. I'll be honest with you guys. I would not date and or marry any girl who has what? A very, shall we say, prominent Instagram page where she parades herself all over the place, even if she is dressed modestly on that page. Because modesty, my friends, is not just about covering up and this and that and the other. Modesty is also about how you present yourself and privacy and all these kind of things, right? So if she's parading herself all over the place, I'm not into it. Yeah, once in a while, one picture here and there, whatever it is. But if the whole account is about that, okay? So guys, my point is, and obviously men are responsible for that as well. Meaning, we're responsible to guard our eyes, right? And my friends, why am I veering into this topic? Because it connects to this whole thing of the Brit. Not just the Brit Milah, but the Brit, which is literally the source of all this stuff. My friends, of everything really that's going on. That's really what this is. This is a spiritual battle, and it's playing itself out on the international stage, on the global, geopolitical stage. And again, I'm talking to myself as well. I'm not here to, preach at people. I'm just, calling it like it is, and I'm including myself in this issue. And again, all we heard today was jokes and memes, and I was one of the people that made these, created memes and jokes and, posting Notorious B.I.G. who's paging me at 5 o'clock in the morning, crack of dawn, and the video of these guys blowing up, whatever it is. All different things. I think I came up with like a bunch of, Sony guts. Have you ever seen the movie Zohan? The phone has Sony guts, but like Sony guts, but then like, whatever. Guts, blah, blah, blah. This is like different memes and jokes, but I realized I'm like, this whole thing about the Brit, right? The word circumcision is being repeated over and over and over all day. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, Hashem, at some point you're like, okay, your brain just kind of clicks in. It's like if you guys ever see the movie Ace Ventura, the first one, and he's sitting there and he's trying to figure out Finkel, Einhorn. Oh, but speaking of which, speaking of cut off stuff, and he's like, Finkel, Einhorn, Finkel, and he can't figure it out. He's sitting there. And finally, like, the dog sits on the newspaper, and he realizes, oh, okay, Einhorn is a man, whatever. So, just like today, it's like, you just keep hearing the same thing over and over, to the point where you're like, what is Hashem trying to tell me? what is the message here? There clearly is a message. It's not just, oh, we blew up Hezbollah, which is great, fantastic, and now we're hopefully going to finish the military, aspect of it, the actual on the ground aspect, hopefully soon, because if we don't do it, what's that, guys? Okay. Sorry, just 1 second. If we don't do it, then we just leave, a bunch of maimed people, and they'll be infuriated and they'll come after us, as my friend said today, rightfully so. It's absolutely correct. You have to follow up. This whole situation has to be followed up with a proper military campaign to get rid of the enemy, right? If they don't retaliate first immediately. But apart from that, guys, there's a message. There's a clear message here. And we got to wake up to that message. That the whole world is experiencing this whole thing of just completely, rampant, I don't know, hypersexualization. Excuse me. And we're at the point where we've just lost, we're so desensitized, for lack of a better term. No pun intended. We've lost all sensitivity to these things. And that actually has led us to the 49th level of Tumah, of impurity. Sorry guys, this is normally a quiet neighborhood. For some reason, there's a bunch of cars running around. It's all good. So, yeah guys, just wanted to share that, some stuff, something I was thinking about just now. It's again, I'm just seeing it all over the place, people making jokes about it. I mean, it is funny, but I don't know if you guys saw, but this Bassem Youssef guy said, the Egyptian guy basically said that this is no laughing matter, and we hurt civilians and all that kind of thing. And somebody said, excuse me, these are Hezbollah operatives. Somebody wrote to him, now do music festivals, I mean, we know our enemies are not in touch with, rather they're in touch with reality. They know the truth, but they just want to keep lying, right? Because, Takia and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, guys, basically, this is the issue. We understand what the issue is. And, it doesn't seem like it's going to stop on a global level. But it's up to the Jewish people really to kind of start the process of fixing it. It's up to us really, guys. It's crazy. I'm just going to say one more thing, guys. I noticed a couple of days ago or yesterday, an account of this girl. She started posting, a Jewish girl, and she has a very, very prominent, she has both on Instagram and TikTok. She's a very beautiful girl, and she's in her mid-20s, and she said, I decided to go to, she didn't grow up religious, she's not religious, and she decided to go to seminary in Jerusalem. And so she's in seminary, she's learning, she's showing her what she's learning in Hebrew and this and that and the other. But you see, her Instagram, 1.5 million followers. TikTok is probably as much, or if not more, right? And she's basically, parading herself kind of around. She's not immodest, but you see, it's like a fashion show, right? Judaism became a fashion show. So I sent it to a friend of mine who lives in Israel, and my friend said, he goes to me, I don't see this girl, stopping her, shutting down her Instagram, because she enjoys the power and the notoriety and the fame and all that kinds of. It's too powerful. The ego, the ego trip of this whole thing is too powerful to give up, right? She's not gonna be. She's not gonna become like this from woman, like even if she dresses modest, right? She's not gonna be like this from woman who doesn't show herself to anybody but her husband and a couple of other people in her family, right? She's not gonna do that. She's not gonna give that up. And I said, listen, man, it's the month of Elul. We don't know. First of all, don't judge her. Second, because you don't know her nisayon. You don't know her test. It's a test. It's her own personal test. This whole thing, to fix this issue, right? To have rectify it. Let's make it a tikkun. And the second thing is, we have no idea if she will or won't. Chances are, I think it's a high percentage that she won't. But there's a small percentage she might. She might have a wake-up call, and she will just say, the hell with this Instagram, and the hell with this, the hell with that. Guys, sorry, one last thing to connect to this. There was a rabbi in Israel. He passed away recently. I forget his name, but I have his face in my head. He was the George Clooney of Israel. Literally, the George Clooney of Israel. Imagine George Clooney would be a Jew, and he just says, the hell with this acting thing. What was his name? Uri something. You guys know who I'm talking about. You can look him up. Big actor in Israel in the 70s. In the 80s. 1 second, guys. A lot of activity in the streets today. So basically, he dropped everything and he became religious. He had a wake-up call. He started learning Torah. He said something about, he learned Rambam and he tried to, learn it with his wife, whatever it is. Uri Zohar. So guy became religious, dropped everything, guys. So you don't know, you never know. But honestly, that's not even the point. It's not even the point about becoming Haredi or crazy or whatever. The point is, guys, we can use our social media to bring Hashem into the world, guys. That's, as my friend likes to say, my friend Frank, the Sitra Achor gets it first, Ultimately, social media was brought here. Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, all these things to bring Hashem into the world. But before Hashem comes in, we're going to have what we're going to have. So, in all the humor, guys, and all the stuff that we saw today, there is a message. There is a message, even with all the jokes and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, guys, I hope my message was not too all over the place, but in the words of the New York telephone commercial from the 1980s, it's all connected. All right, guys, Laila Tov.